He's been to the mountain. Maybe you can show your arms, Kyle. I think you got the tablets with you, right?
I'd rather them just get a check and then call me back and say, why'd I get $1,000 check in the mail? And then I can explain.
Stop the
$200.
show. Pause it for a second, Kyle.
This is Kyle. Hey, I was calling about your online request for some health insurance. How you doing today?
Where, if at all, you send them your credibility is we're used to doing in life.
Why does anything work, right? Because you're marketing to the right niche of people.
All right, y'all, Mac Agro Borehaven Real Talk. Excited for us today because we have a transition. So if you remember, Apple did what Apple did. They were one of the few that did closed source operating system. That was kind of weird back in the day. Every company, they developed an OS operating system and then they just shared it. People can do whatever they want to do. Apple said, nah, we are going to have it closed. People said, y'all are going to fail. They survived. They did the computer thing for a long time. And then one guy named Steve Jobs came into play. Showed up on stage one day, and everyone's all anticipating what he's going to say. And he says, we are getting in the phone business. They're like, what the? You don't know nothing about phones. Change the game, right? So I say all that to say this. I believe we're about to change the game. Now, the game has been changed. We're just late to the dance. I'll be honest with you. And I am going to get myself out of the way quickly. I could tell you about it, but I think I would be doing you a disservice. So I brought on what I'm going to call, at least for this call, Moses. He's been to the mountain. Maybe you can show your arms, Kyle. I think you got the tablets with you, right?
I don't have the beard.
No, he got the beard.
I can't grow a beard, so I should have brought. If I would have known that was my name, I would have improvised and got my Halloween costume a little earlier.
I know you guys hear it all, but Kyle's pretty humble about it, and he's not going to flaunt his stuff and tell you all the stuff he's done. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Kyle is the epitome of relaxed intensity, and I say that in all seriousness. He's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So I'm allowing him to share what is going to be shared with you, but I don't want you to be confused by the method in which he shares it. He's not going to jump on his chair and whoop, 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 whoop. But I'm going to tell you the information, and the information he's going to drop. If you're listening, you'll be thanking God. If you're not on fire at the end of this, your wood's wet. That's what I'm going to say, okay? Let me just transition real quick and tell you what's happened. So typically, you know, you go into the life field and you're selling, but one of the things for me, life circumstances have had it where it's forced me to create a business model that caters to life, where you can, you know, be a family man and still be able to provide at a high level. And there's, you know, what does the Bible say? In all things, there's a season. There's a season of hustle where you just don't look back and go. But everyone has situations where, you know, you have to focus. You have to do what they call block scheduling. What we're doing is Steve Jobs coming on stage, and he's changing the game, at least for you. And as you go through, you'll be hearing it. It'll take a little bit to incorporate into your system, to integrate. We're going to be asking Kyle all these questions because he's done it for what, 2 years now, 3 years now, Kyle?
Almost 2, yeah. It'll be 2 in January.
Okay, so let me do this. I'm gonna get out the way. I'm gonna kind of just share what's happening. So we're gonna be incorporating health insurance, and we're gonna be bundling. The key word you're gonna be hearing today is bundling. And so let's start off, guys. Kyle, he's been. You guys are in Texas now, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Texas. Okay, been in the business. So maybe we can start off that way, Kyle. You just kind of share with everyone. A lot of people don't know who you are. Sure, you know how you got into the insurance industry, and then what you did. Just be real. Tell them your numbers, because some people need to hear that you've done that. I mean, you and Ginger. And then why we transition, and we'll just go to that point.
Well, thanks, Mac, for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be on your guys' call. I hope that We host a team call every Tuesday, and I start every week by just saying, I hope that, we bring some value to your life, and obviously something that where you can immediately take something away and incorporate it into your business and make more money and be more profitable. I've had my insurance license since 2018. My wife suckered me into getting it so that we could get a promotion. To be real honest, we were with Symmetry Financial Group at the time. My wife is the best salesperson that I've ever met, probably that you'll ever meet. She was quite the mortgage protection guru for quite a while. We have an active team of about 50 agents that run virtually in 38 different states. We came to FFL in 2021, and that was, on the heels of COVID, and sat down at a table with Sean Mike, and he said, you can, and I think that the theme of this call will be the power of the pivot. The game hasn't changed. It's just the way that you approach the game. Sean Mike said, you guys can come to FFL as long as you don't talk to anybody about anything with regards to virtual sales. We are an in-home, face-to-face, and we're like, that's fine. We came over here for high contracts, and our teams, I'm tired of recruiting a bunch of people at a low contract, and that's a revolving door. He was fine with that until, we did like 45,000 our first month and 55,000 our second month. And then we were in Las Vegas recording a bunch of videos to build out the FFL virtual sales website with Andrew Taylor, within 90 days of coming over here. So I think they saw that there's an opportunity to sell to a much wider audience. I still am of the crazy belief, some people call it crazy, that virtual sales is the best thing since sliced bread, because it allows you to cast a much wider net, and the more prospects you have access to, the more money you can make as a sales agent. And that hasn't changed. About a year and a half ago, as some of you may know, whether you're in final expense or mortgage protection or just general life, we were mortgage protection junkies. Our entire team was. And when rates go up, mortgage protection inquiries go down. And so we kind of saw the writing on the wall. I think FFL, in the same regard, has seen the writing on the wall. They pivoted very shortly thereafter to IUL sales, right? Earlier this year, we all know that at conference in Dallas, and obviously IULs have gone crazy since then, just because of the fact that they realize that there's power in the pivot. There's another product that you have access to. There's another arrow in your quiver that you can pull out and be able to solve a real world problem with a real world solution. I'm not saying that my team sells a fair amount of IULs, but we, last February, again, I'm a big believer and I do it myself before I tell everybody else to do it. I sold $104,000 worth of health insurance in the first 30 days of getting contracted. And I was like, well, I think that there's some legs to this. It's not selling health insurance. We don't sell health insurance. I don't even want to sell health insurance. But what we do is use this avenue of health insurance to get in the back door to bundle and sell life insurance, which is where you guys make your money. And so if you're only using one side of your license, I think that you're missing a huge opportunity, and you're missing a huge marketing opportunity. And the way this all started is because I had a client who had already been on my books for about a year and a half. She called and said she wanted to cancel because her husband had got laid off from his job. And she wanted to cancel a $48 a month mortgage protection policy that was worth about 200 grand. And I genuinely was like, I wasn't risking a chargeback or anything, but I genuinely just wanted to find out like her thought process. And she said, I just need to get rid of all the non-essentials. And I was like, well, just out of curiosity, what are the essentials? And she was gracious enough to just kind of walk me through her thought process. And obviously she'd been a good client, but she said, well, my mortgage payment, my car payments, my health insurance. And like my mind went on, and I was like, your health insurance, you see that as an essential? She's like, well, yeah, but your life insurance is not essential. And she was like, well, not at this time. And I just thought, that's really weird how the human brain works. And I said, out of curiosity, how much are you paying for your health insurance every month? She goes, me and my husband, I have a 19-year-old son, probably $450 a month. And I was like, so you would rather keep your $450 a month payment for health insurance that you consider an essential and dump your $48 a month life insurance payment, mortgage protection? And she was like, yeah. I was like, all right. So we canceled the policy, but that's where this whole thing kind of started. So we got contracted. I went down a rabbit hole. I found Manhattan Life, as some of you have probably heard.
And real quick, did you
go ahead.
search out one from that situation? Were you searching out, I got to get into something that would give health insurance from that experience, or did it just find you?
Well, no, I mean, I was searching it out. I mean, so that was intriguing. And then, but I knew that I didn't really want to go down the ACA rabbit hole. I feel like,
Right.
I want to be able to provide value. And I don't know that just shopping in the government's marketplace is a way to provide value. That's just a big bucket and it's gladiator style. We're all just in there murdering each other in the Coliseum.
Right.
So I tried to figure out who is my client, right? And we really felt strongly. I mean, and I have kind of a think tank of agents, and we collaborated for a couple of weeks, and we kind of try to determine like who is our client, who is a demographic, and we came up with the small business owner, that's who we all are, right? We're small business owners. So I don't know how many of you on this call, but how many of you have 401ks? How many of you have IRAs? How many of you do your own taxes? Right. So if you're small business owners, like there's a lot of problems that you have that you're expected to kind of own a business and have all these ancillary type of products and things that fill the gap. But it's a lot of work to have all that stuff. If you're a W-2 employee, it's why people quit the 1099 gig and they go back to a W-2 job because it's easier. And people do it for you. But if you have that mindset and that hustle mindset to want to have more and not just, work 9 to 5 for that 50, 80, $100,000 salary, then this checks the boxes. I know Mac's that kind of person. My wife and I've been self-employed since I was 21 years old. I don't know any other way. So yeah, we kind of collaborate. We figure out we want to target the small business client. And so is there a lead strategy? Is there a system where we can really try to find out who those people are? Are they truck drivers or dog groomers or CPAs or real estate brokers or digital bosses, like you name it? Turns out that, now since COVID, like the small business hustle, is out of control. You're never going to have a shortage of finding small business owners. And so then we tried to see, what products are available. And yeah, so I ended up running into Matt Goodrich, in a conversation, and he was like, you ought to look at this. And I was like, okay. And so then obviously, I was like, well, Manhattan has a good product, but so does Allstate, and so does US Health, and so does Philadelphia American. And so I went down that rabbit hole to see which of those and how they compare and which one offers more value and price and all that fun stuff. Again, with the whole idea being if we found a product that we could market and then backdoor sell life insurance, then this could be a winning scenario. So February of last year, I sold $104,000. I took it to the team. I was like, hey, I did this on my own.
So you spearheaded it. And let's go back. When you were trying to spearhead it, make sure that this was a good place to drink from. How many leads did you start with just to make sure you had enough data?
So I was buying 30 leads a week.
30 leads, that's it. 30 leads a week.
Right.
That sounds small when compared to running life insurance.
Well, and that's what you're going to probably see. I think that if you do this right, it's a really profitable model. And I'll obviously speak openly and candidly and honestly to what I know my team's numbers to be and what yours are somewhat similar. Everybody's always used, like my average life sale right now is about $1,412. So everybody always uses the $1,200 mark. Mine's a little higher than that. So on average, your average monthly premium is about $100. I think some people run a little less than that, in that $1,000 range, but ours is fairly high, $1,413. And so the trick though is if you bundle, right, you can essentially double the amount of revenue that you get from a single lead. Instead of having to buy 2 leads to make that same number, I can sell 2 products or 3 products or 4 products to that same client and consequently reduce my lead cost while maximizing my revenue. Again, if you do it right. So I didn't really bundle my first month. I just wanted to see, is this a product that's viable, that checks the boxes? I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was selling. I'd never sold health insurance in my entire life. But again, as I always teach my team to do, I'm like, you only got to learn your next client. You don't got to learn a lot. You just got to learn what are your hot buttons? What does your client identify as a real problem? And then you research the hell out of that problem to try to offer them a solution. You don't need to know quantum physics if they don't care about it.
Right.
And so, yeah, so I would just approach every single client. I learned a whole lot. And then I brought it to my team and they were skeptical and they were like, well, but I don't think Kyle's dumb. I showed him my deposits. I showed him how many clients and sales I had. And I was like, so then we just kind of started building. I brought it to one of my longtime agents, Deanne Garland, and we kind of coined it the Garland method because she was the best at bundling and figuring out a way to say, if I could save you $200 a month on your health insurance premiums, then how do we recover that 200 of money that you're already spending. We're not really even selling it to you. You're just diverting money that you're already spending because my client told me earlier that 400 and some odd dollars was an essential fee that she had to pay every single month for health and wellness and peace of mind. So now all we got to do, if I save her $100 a month, then what did that do? I found $100 a month that I can now consequently use to provide bring more value to their package
Your
of
life.
protection.
Mhm.
And now they get life insurance with living benefits and health insurance.
The
And so
script,
we
Kyle, you
really,
guys just kind of bundled, you just kind of tripped along the way, figuring out what worked, what didn't, right?
correct.
Everyone was collaborating together to get to where you are now.
So that was like pretty much 6 months of last year. We went through this whole transition and trying to get FFL on board, and they all said I was crazy. And I was like, whatever, like I still don't, you guys don't, mortgage protection is a dying breed. So unless I didn't, nobody was really on that IUL train yet. And so, we felt like it was a good direction. And I do still, my message hasn't changed. If anything, I feel more confident today than I did a year and a half ago about the robust product that Manhattan has built on this small business health chassis. You can add a whole lot of stuff to it. The application is the easiest you'll ever write. There's no signature, nothing. The signature is the mother's maiden name. You can bundle life with it. And again, now our average, instead of $1,413, our average sale right now is hovering right around $2,100 in net commissions.
Awesome. That's small
So
increment grows. And this is why I'm telling you guys that if I can put reason to what you're hearing, this is fire. Grant Cardone says if he ever got into an industry and he wanted to change the game, he would monitor everything people are doing right now and do the opposite. No one's talking about this, right, Kyle? People are kind of talking about the IULs, and which those are good to do as well. But you're going
and
at
if
it a
anything,
different
like the fact that we've embraced this ideology, this bundling, building a quality package of protection. You're not just slinging a single deal. I really, I got jaded just with chargebacks and just with people, canceling. I felt like LIMR statistics say that if you have 3 policies or more with a client, then they're about 35% more likely to be on the books 13 months later. And the numbers don't lie. So the more we started to do that, the more, now I would say a large portion of my team, they just use the IULs to bundle as their living benefit product. So if you love the IUL, it's no reason to say you can't still go down this rabbit hole of health insurance. And again, still market to a small business owner who very well can use an IUL for their businesses or on the be your own bank concept, however you want to sell it or however you pitch it. And then now, again, they have a much more comprehensive value add than they would if you just sold them a final expense product and then prayed to Jesus that it's still on the books in 13 months.
right. Let's be honest. Kyle, how difficult is it to learn the new language, if you will, of bundling? Is it just following a script like normal, or do you got to change your mentality a little bit?
I don't think you have to change that much. The only thing that changes is the idea that it's not a one-call close. If you're used to a one-call close, this will be a real struggle for you. I don't know that a one-call close is a real viable way to do business and keep business on the books if you want to be in the business. I'm 45 years old. Like I said, I've never worked for anybody else. This is not hard work. I know you live in Arizona. We are not roofing houses in Arizona in the middle of summer. I'm here in my gym clothes in my living room. My wife works upstairs. I work downstairs. We make a really nice living together. And I could see doing this, at the rate that I'm doing it for a very long time and working from anywhere. So, yeah, if you can figure out how to really embrace that, I'm not trying to close a deal. I'm trying to close a client, right? And solve a client's problems. We embrace a 3-call close. So we do a discovery call, the presentation, and then the application or the post-close call. And it gives you a lot of touch points where you can kind of reinforce the sale, and then obviously ask for referrals and make sure that the client education is a really important part of that. But it really establishes you as a true professional and not just a fly-by-night, guy that somebody talked to yesterday that they forget about in 3 weeks. And they're like, yeah, I think I have an insurance policy, but I don't know who it was. So again, we're really kind of building that book of business for the longevity's sake, that I want to be in the business still in 10 or 15 or 20 years and have a book that pays me for that much that much period, that much time or longer.
You know, that the stickiness, there's word on the street that it's so much more sticky, even though they pay percentage wise less than life insurance. Sticky, and by the way, for those that don't know, means it stays on the books. Have you seen that be the case with your numbers? I mean, what's the percentage of persistency for the health stuff?
So mine is a little bit higher, but collectively, I have about 63 agents that have sold health insurance, and we're at like 74% on the health
Okay.
insurance. So it's still
Okay.
right in that sweet spot of what I'm expecting. Obviously, it can always get better. But that is a flat number. Now, I have small numbers with regard to 90% or better. The
Awesome.
agents that are tracking their numbers, that are selling as much as they at least offering a bundled package every single time, 90% persistency, which is like amazing.
So you're saying when they bundle, the persistency goes from just 74 to
Correct.
almost 90%, not that.
90%.
Crazy.
Well, and keep in
Wow. Are
mind
you hearing
that again, it's not just that, it's a profitability number that we're talking about, because they're buying the same amount of leads, right? My average agent spends somewhere between $500 and $700 a week, which, coming back from mortgage protection, I mean, I think
hold on one second, Kyle.
spending
Hey,
$2,200.
stop the show. Pause it for a second,
I
Kyle.
know,
I just heard something. I think I misheard you a little bit.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
I will
the
tell you, the
mantra's
Mac's
been
crazy if he's spending $2,200 a week on leads, which I know he
$1,000,
has in the past.
$5,000 in leads. That's what did you just, how much did you say your top agents are spending a week in leads?
No more than $700, $100 a day.
Hey, if you're not about to fall over, that a top agent, and what do you consider a top agent? How much are they making, depositing, would you say? How much are they write? How much do they deposit? Only spending $700 a week.
My best ones last month did about 40,000 in net deposits. But keep in mind, like, we're not all Mac Agabors. Like, Mac is the hare and I'm the tortoise. I'm just trying to get to the end of the race. I'm not trying to go fast. I just want to finish.
So
and this is I see that everybody can finish. You don't have to spend $2,200 a week on leads. You don't have to smile and dial 14 hours a day. We use a proprietary CRM within our team, but I mean, I made 9 phone calls this morning, talked to 6, and have 4 appointments later this afternoon.
You actually beat me to it, Kyle. I want to talk about the lifestyle approach to this and how this changes the game, where you can actually build a life around, or build a business around your life. Talk to me about the difference between the approach and working these leads compared to the old system of just normal life leads, generally speaking.
So my wife is the mortgage protection machine. So that's the perspective that I have. She used to write $40,000, $50,000 a month. I know that we were spending $1,500 a week on leads. I know that she had 8 to 10 appointments a day, as I'm sure some of you still do. I personally, again, this is the gospel according to Kyle, but I don't know that that's sustainable. I genuinely don't. If you want to get in this business and make hay for 3 years and do that and run as fast as you possibly can, then God bless America. But I have a life. I have a kid. I've got 7 kids. Like, I got stuff that I want to do. And it's not all, it doesn't all center around work. Yeah, money isn't everything. If you don't have money, my life sucks. So I still need to figure out how to make money, but I want to figure out a way to enjoy my life and spend it too. And so I see this as a really manageable solution, and it's not just around the health insurance. Keep in mind that I don't know that my strategy is ever going to change at this point, because I don't know that the demographic of small business ownership in the United States is ever going to go away. They're always going to need some solution. It might be filled with some other product. Maybe Manhattan's goes away. I'll find some other product, because that's still going to be a viable need. And I don't think the government's going to fully be able to take over privatization of health insurance. But maybe they will. I don't know. I don't think so. So the power of the pivot is still valuable, but if you can sell multiple products, again, as Max said, you got to figure out how to bundle and ask good questions. And again, if you do your discovery call, your presentation call, and your post close or your application, it gives you 3 touch points over 3 different days to really kind of reinforce that sale and make sure that it sticks.
I just want to make sure I'm not going to misquote you. Are you telling me you could confidently say, even a brand new agent, if they were able to learn the product, the system, but more important, they could spend $700 a week in leads, give them 30 days, that they can win on that? I mean, good income on that.
So, I mean, again, it's all relevant, right? Relative, right? Like, I don't know what good income is. My average agent last month made a little over 11,000 bucks. That to me I mean, I had agents that made, 40,000 bucks last month, but 11,000
Yeah,
bucks is, I think, a good, if you can make $120,000, I feel like that, whatever I'm doing, whatever system I'm promoting, I feel like that's something that I can recruit to. It's something that I can get behind. It's not a pipe dream. It's something that everybody can do. The average, like I said, the average net commission is about $2,100, right? So if you figure that you sold one of those a week on 500 bucks, like you're still netting $6,000, right? As a brand new agent with no, I mean, it's like, you're on pace to start making doctor lawyer money here if you really just stick to the schedule for 6 months to a year. I think that being consistently inconsistent is the problem that all of you face, that all of my agents face, that we all face, right? It's just a matter of showing up, establishing time blocking, figure out a lead schedule, spending that 500 bucks every single week so that I got qualified, interested people to talk to. And then offering, asking good questions, offering the bundle. If you do
that's
that,
good.
you sold two, again, it's just, I use the Hunger Games analogy, right? The odds are in your favor. If you sold one deal a week and could make $6,000, like it's more than a lot of people come to this business making. If you could make two and all of a sudden make 12,000, that's 150 G's a year. That's not bad, right? Now you sell three. If you get to the point where you're selling one a day, one bundle a day makes you guys, a couple $100,000. And that's a real sustainable model, not working your ass off, like not killing yourself, but selling one a day. Maybe you haven't, even if you're a crappy closer and you sat with 5, 6, 7 people a day and you only closed one a day, like now you just manage your numbers. But you offer that bundle, it's sticky business. And I think, again, if more passionate about is that patent, their product, their suite of products. I mean, Ginger and I are getting ready to go to Aspen next week with Galen Hendricks, sit down at dinner with her and kind of hear the whole story. I'm super excited about that. My team all wants to go to
They
Greece
have
next year,
incentives too,
where
right?
their
So they
their
got
trip is.
trips and stuff.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
no, I'm not only selling Manhattan Life products, I just use that as my lead. So obviously I'm essentially a broker for, multiple insurance carriers. They don't know that I'm not shopping a lot of different health insurance products, but I do have quite a few agents on the team that sell ACA. So we do have referrals where where the Manhattan product isn't a good fit. But again, why does this work? Why does anything work, right? Because you're marketing to the right niche of people.
Right.
Does Medicare work for a 25-year-old? No, but they don't market, they don't market
Yeah.
Medicare to me. I don't get a bunch of that crap on my Facebook feed and, everywhere else. So if you, whoever your lead vendor is, or if you subject your own leads, you'll figure out real quickly who you want to market to. It's those dog groomers, it's the over-the-road truckers, it's CPAs and real estate brokers, all the trade guys, electricians, plumbers, painters, the MEP people. Those are a dime a dozen. Everybody and their mother would be really excited about affordable health insurance, PPO, available in all 50 states that they can actually use first day, first dollar coverage, that they don't got to wait for. There's not all this ACA hoops to jump through.
I think people are chomping at the bit to hear some nitty gritty, but before that, I want you to speak to the quality of lead. I've heard and I've experienced that it's different, that you're not chasing these people. Like they're actually wanting you to talk to them versus the chase game that happens with life. Kind of speak on that a little bit.
So I think, again, that it's just simple math, I mean, I'm a small business owner. My time is really valuable. When I'm interested in something and someone calls me back, I'm going to take them up at, that they're willing and able to help me. I don't have the luxury of shopping around, of, trying to figure out, and I see it as an essential service, whether I'm a one-man show or whether I have 14 different employees. I can offer them group health plans that, check those boxes and allow for higher employee retention rates and that kind of thing for them. So I think that the quality of the lead is significant. Again, I'm only buying on average. Our leads come back at roughly, right now I'm tracking them at like $12.79. So, on a $50 a day spend, you're going to get 4 high intent quality leads a day, 5 days a week. I don't work the weekends. I don't work for Saturday and Sunday. So, you'd have, you'd have 20, 25 people to talk to. Again, relative to how much money you want to work, you can literally just kind of buy your production and scale it up that way. But yeah, I think gone are the days of having to buy hundreds of leads and just, try to sort through them and see if you can find a pearl or two.
So guys, one of the things I want you to hear is you got two ways to grow. You can either increase effort, right? Or you can maximize the one you got. And you can do both here. So you got lower amount of lead spend, but you got higher quality of leads. Now, Kyle, for those who are grinders, I mean, yeah, it's awesome to be able to run this lead model where you don't have to work weekends, but we got folks who want to go crush it completely. Like they don't got, this is their focus. Is it possible for someone to do 100 to, I mean, maximum amount of money and just grind it? Or is that really because of the back end work, not really possible?
So I have an agent who wrote $88,000 last month. She wrote 76 the month before that. She pretty much just focuses on the health side. She uses Mutual of Omaha's IULE as her bundled living benefit product. So she sells two carriers like Novocaine, Clockwork. It works every time. She only sold like $5,000 in life last month. She offers the bundle pretty much every time, but she's just gotten to the point where she's in a rhythm and making good money. I think she netted probably close to $30,000 last month, even net of lead costs. And she, I would consider that a fairly successful model. She's not working 7 days a week; she's working 4. But I mean,
wow,
if you
awesome.
want to work 7, it is just a function of pouring more gas on the fire.
More gas on the fire. That's it. Tell me about the back end work. I know that's one thing that is distasteful to some people. They're used to life. You sell it, and the only time that you do back end work is when someone dies. Tell me about that and what the transition is like, learning some technicalities about underwriting and all that stuff.
So my argument with the back end work, first of all, is that I think that the back end work of life is 30% in net chargebacks. That's the back end work. I can't imagine writing. Some of these guys are writing $1 million, and if only 70% of their business issues, can you guys imagine selling and making $300,000 every year that you had to give back? That seems like back end work that I'd rather not deal with. So I want back end work that I can actually manage, and keep as many clients on the book as you can. If you do a 3-call close and you do it right, and again, I've worked for 1.5 years with the team to try to, again, find out what best practices are, what really is working, how do we explain how to utilize this product. If you sell it wrong, then yeah, you'll have a back end nightmare because you won't set, sales is all about setting expectations, right? If I sell you a Pinto and I sell it as a Ferrari, then they're going to bring it back. And so you don't need to oversell the Manhattan Affordable Choice product. You sell it exactly the way it is because it does exactly what it needs to do for the person that it needs to do it for. And if you sell it right, you won't have, I have maybe 2 client calls a month, but I am so like unadulterated over explaining what it is and how to utilize the product so that they have an email. They have, that's a resource for every single thing that they could do. By the time they've talked to me 3 or 4 times, the deal is closed. They don't call me back. They don't need to call me back. They know how to now utilize the product that I've sold them. If you don't do it, then yeah, I had an agent that literally was like, I can't do this. I got to go back to final expense because I had 10 people can't charge back. And I was like, walk me through your sales presentation. I want to hear what it sounds like. And I was like, that was a shit show, dude. I don't know who I didn't teach you how to sell that way. That's not what the script says. That's not what the process says. Like, you shortchanged the system because you were so used to selling final expense that you tried to jam that square peg into that round hole and you screwed yourself. So, because it doesn't make sense when I got somebody over here selling $88,000 and she's doing it like there's lights out, like the house is on fire and I can't get her to stop, and you don't want to do it. Like there's something, I'm always looking for anomalies. And so yes, there is more back end, but in my opinion, what you're doing is putting in back end effort to keep the money that you already earned, to own the ground that you worked so hard to get.
That's good. That's a good way to look at it. Someone's asking about the leads. The leads you're getting, these are fresh leads, recycled leads.
They're definitely not recycled. So yeah, you would set up a new campaign. Again, I'm not making any money off your leads. I don't care who you buy them from. The Facebook ad library is open for business. You can go and look and see. Just go search small business, self-employed. You'll find dozens of them. Go look for the ones that have been active since February. the longer an ad's been active, the more likely the propensity is that it's very successful. If people are, if it's only been out on the market, in the Facebook ad library for 3 weeks, I probably wouldn't use it. It's not time true tested yet, but no, they're exclusive to you. If I have 38 states. Normally I run it in 10. I pick 10 states and you'll run an exclusive ad campaign for you. They'll come in real time.
Only 10? Like if you chose more, would that be a no-go if you have more licenses?
Well, I don't know that you need to. I mean, again, because keep in mind, on the high end, you might work 50 leads a week,
Okay.
I mean, if you were working full time, 5 days a week, 10 leads a day, that does start to kind of compound into a fair amount of work, and I always look at everything within its own ecosystem of a week. So Monday to Friday, how many leads did I get? How many contacts did I make? How many presentations did I deliver? How many sales did I get for what AP? And then we start over again on Monday. But I would think that you don't really need, I mean, that's 5 leads a state. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's probably a 2 or 3 week run up since this is a unique exclusive campaign for yourself. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
We have different leads, by the way, guys. We have, we have places where you can get the leads. It's
yeah.
just a Facebook lead. We're usually getting some of the veteran IUL. Same concept. They're just marketing to a different niche,
Right.
as always. Kyle, how do you choose which states? Is it one state better than the other? Does it depend on your demographic?
So I'm a big profiler. I mean, I'm from Arizona. I've lived in Texas since 2006. People in Massachusetts aren't my people, so I don't buy in Massachusetts. I stay out of New York. The Affordable Choice Program is only available currently in 38 states, so obviously don't run in those other 12, or Washington, Idaho, Kansas, Colorado, and a handful of states in the Northeast, including like New Jersey, Maine, Rhode Island, that kind of stuff.
Copy that.
Obviously, where you're from, if you're in Arizona, great. I primarily run in the South. I feel like the South is they're just nicer people to deal with. The self-employed, 1099 grind and hustle is a little bit more alive and well in warmer states.
Love it. Let's get in some of the nitty gritty, talking about what it sounds like. So, Kyle, if you can role play it real quick for a moment. What does a intake call sound like for most people? And then we can kind of fast forward to what you do after the intake call. So whenever you're ready, just call me up, ring, ring.
Oh, hold on. Let me, I'll get my little script out here. Hold on. I didn't know we were getting into all the
Right. And we'll be getting with Brandon and some of the other guys to kind of transition those leads, guys, when you're ready.
So yeah, so the discovery call is fairly easy. Obviously, you're trying to establish yourself as a licensed professional, and then obviously dig into what their hot buttons are. So ring ring. Hey Mac.
Hello. Hello.
Hey Mac,
Yeah,
this is Kyle. Hey, I was calling about your online request for some health insurance. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Hey, I'm a state licensed field underwriter. I was just calling to verify some information to see which plans you qualify for. So do you currently have insurance, Mac?
Yeah, through Obamacare.
Okay. And what do you know what carrier it's with, or what do you like or don't like about it?
It's just expensive. I never really use it.
It's expensive and you never really use it. Totally understand. I figured that's what you say. In fact, that's most of the people I work with have plans just like yours. I specialize in working with small business owners just like yourself. Are you self-employed, Mac?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you're fed up with the high cost of healthcare just like me. You're preaching to the choir. My clients often they just don't have insurance. They don't have adequate coverage because it's too expensive, it's too confusing, or it just simply doesn't make sense for their family, right? That sounds like your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly
my
right.
job is just to ensure that you have access to affordable and comprehensive plans that meet your needs and that you understand exactly how it works for you and your family. There's no need to pay for unnecessary benefits, right? If you're not planning on having a baby, why waste money on pregnancy coverage, right? So my expertise is in offering the right plan that caters to your specific needs, budget, and usage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Now,
So
oh, sorry,
go ahead.
pause for a second, Kyle.
Yeah.
I know Manhattan doesn't cover pregnancy and mental health. If someone is
Pregnancy
in a
and
stage where they may still have a baby, what do you do there?
So pregnancy is kind of a weird one. Again, most of the leads that you're going to find, I run into it maybe once a month. I just flat out explain to them and I give them the whole education on what essential health benefits are and how that all works. So for those of you guys that don't know, I mean, Obamacare is a flat system, right? It's bronze, silver, gold plans in whatever state that you live in. What you're doing is you're trading a high premium for a low deductible or a low premium for a higher deductible. But they all essentially offer the exact same levels of care. So the Affordable Choice Plan does not cover maternity. So if you're in that scope of age or work, in most cases, I'll just either cover the husband and the kids without the wife, if that's an option, or they'll, I'll cover the wife and say, again, for whatever reason you do decide to become pregnant, we would have to transition you off to an ACA plan for the term of the pregnancy until we know that the baby's well. And then obviously you can transition back onto this, but it's going to save you a couple $100. Average maternity cost is about $3,700 after negotiation and stuff. So again, with what you save on an AFC plan, it still makes significant sense to do that and then jump back and forth. It's no different than what ACA expects you to do now. Anyhow, it's only a 12-month contract, so you got to re-up every January anyhow.
Right.
So it's not like you're offering them something that they're not gonna end up having to do if they don't like what you present them.
And now what about mental health? What do you recommend in that situation?
So mental health is a real dicey one, even on Obamacare. Obamacare does not really take care of mental health. In most cases, you're paying out of pocket unless it's hospital admission for mental health. In that case, your affordable choice plan, or not your affordable choice, your ACA plan would cover it. But as far as just like clinical psychologists, therapy, all that fun stuff, you're pretty much always paying out of pocket for those specialist type of visits. And most people aren't aware of that. You're going to find that out when you start to dig into, have they been hospitalized or had surgery in the last 2 years, or, are they on any regular prescription medications for anything? As part of the discovery call, you're doing all that intake to gather, is the affordable choice plan going to be a good fit for them or not? I take everybody. I basically do the discovery call with every single person. Even if they were to throw out 14 medications, I'll still take them. And kind of, again, we have a live Zoom room, I'll do a risk assessment, see what kind of options I have. Because again, clearly they've identified to me that they have a problem. And I still want to see if I can, if it's not 100% solution, can I still provide some value to their life and leave them in a better situation after I talk to them than I found them. And in almost every case, that is true, even if I can't meet their mental health, needs.
Got it.
But yes,
Good
Affordable
stuff.
Choice does not offer any mental health care. It will cover mental health prescriptions, but it won't offer you any kind of hospitalization or psychotherapy or clinical type therapy for those types of conditions.
And Joe's asking, someone on Prozac, those kind of medications would be covered after it. The waiting period?
There is no waiting period anymore. So prescriptions are all first day, first dollar coverage.
Oh,
so
wow,
if I get approved, now granted, if you're on Prozac, I can get your prescription reimbursed up to $50, $75, $100 a day, whatever you elect, whatever coverage plan you elect. So you can get your prescription covered. I just can't obviously ensure that, if you have to go to the hospital or, seek any kind of therapies as a complication of that, either taking that drug or, or that condition as diagnosed by a doctor.
That's good. And off the top of your head, guys, the resources for people who want to know about maybe qualifications, how does someone that's brand new know, hey, do they cover this? Like, who do they call when the time comes after they've gotten the intake?
So Manhattan Life has a great intake department, marketing and risk assessment department. I would just get in the habit of calling them. Eric Hall is a great resource. He's the affordable choice product specialist. He's done dozens of calls with our team just to kind of open our eyes and see how their system works and what's good and what's bad and what it is and what it isn't. So yeah, just like anything, call the carrier. You'll learn so much.
So Damien, Eric Hall is going to be your next best friend. Also Patty in marketing, right? Patty is incredible, right? She's another one. So, all right. So let's go back where we were.
Penny is her name.
Penny, that's what it is. Penny. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So Gus, go ahead. And sorry if you can remember where you were. I say yes.
Damien says they had to be in better physical health. So they can't, there is a height and weight build chart. There's a separate height and weight build chart for diabetics. Diabetics on, there's a combination of medications. They can't be on more than 2 diabetic medications in conjunction with 2 high blood pressure medications in conjunction with 1 high cholesterol. So if they're on atorvastatin and lisinopril and metformin, no big deal. You know, as long as they're not in excess of, like, I think it's 265, which is pretty lenient still. So 6 foot 265 is what I usually use. So.
And he's asking insulin diabetics.
Insulin's a no-go.
There we go.
Yep. So you'd have to pivot over to the Blue Ribbon product if you wanted to go that route. Or
Blue Ribbon is more of a guaranteed issue-ish kind of product.
Yeah, but they just also rolled out another one that, I mean, just like 2 weeks ago, they rolled out a new product called Hospital Indemnity Select. That's actually kind of more now the step down from Affordable Choice before you would hit Blue Ribbon. So anyhow, they're kind of trying to, again, fill the gaps.
Got it. All right. I think we got most of the questions out of the way. Yep.
So we jump back into the call. Yeah, provided we can get you qualified. When do you need the coverage to start? I usually will. My approach is that I'll book them either for the 1st or the 15th. So obviously we're at the 2nd. If I was conducting a discovery call today, I'm immediately going to set out their effective date for like the 10th or the 15th of the month. I kind of see this strategy as my health commissions are my paycheck, and my life commissions that I bundle are the gravy. So it's kind of nice because you can forward think, like, you know, sales is known for, right? What have you done for me lately, Ron? What have you done late for me, Damien? What have you done late for me, Victor? Right? So you're only as good as what you sold today. It's kind of nice to be able to build the funnel out and go, like, I mean, it's Labor Day, but I had about a $9,000 deposit hit today. So, and I'll probably end up building. So I'm always constantly building out my health paycheck for 2 weeks in advance so that I can predict my income and then have my life policies come in throughout the month. And actually, even when I sell it, they like it that way. I'm like, hey, well, do you want your living benefits to hit at a different time so that you're not just getting hit all the time? So I can schedule your health policy to come out on the 15th and your living benefits to come out on the 25th. Does that sound good? You know, whatever you want to do. So, anyhow, that's kind of how I structure that.
You don't do same day drafts as the old way of life insurance? None of that?
No, because it's going to be a fully underwritten product, right? So usually it's going to take a minimum of 5 days from the time that you submit it for it to go through underwriting and then for you to get an approval. And then that's obviously when you're going to reach back out to your client, say, hey, good news. I did exactly what I told you I was going to do. I presented this product to you. You did get approved. Now this is how we're going to make this product work for you. This is when the money's going to come out. Make sure you have money in your account because this is when your effective date and your draft date's going to be. This is when your living benefits are going to come out. We're going to talk them through telehealth and, you know, care guide and all the how to register for their portal and process claims and turn in reimbursements for prescriptions and all that fun stuff.
Got it. All right. So we back to where I say, yeah, the 15th. I like to start the 15th.
Okay, perfect. So all you need is their zip code. So can I get your zip code? What county is that in?
85326. That's in Maricopa County.
Beautiful. And what's your age and your birthday, Mac?
5683. I am 41.
And are you looking for coverage for just yourself, or do you have spouse or significant other kids that you're looking to add to the plan as well?
I got the whole gang. I got a crew of 10.
Good Gandhi. So just so you know, the 10 presents obviously a real problem because the quote is set up for individual and family, individual and kids, or individual and family, right? So, and that only includes up to 4 kids. Every additional kid after 4 is another $129 that you decide to add. So for what that's worth, just keep in mind. So are you a smoker or use any tobacco products? We asked this question just as a qualifier because Affordable Choice doesn't ask and we don't really care. But I think, again, if I were to tell you how many people that are small business owners that are smokers, I would say it's very few. But again, I just asked that question as a way to keep them in qualifying mode.
Now, does it specifically ask smokers or tobacco usage?
It doesn't ask either, but I just asked them as for the purpose of the discovery call. I like to be in the mode of asking them questions so that they think that there's a chance they might not get approved and I'm going to be the hero.
Got it. The takeaway. All right, keep going.
So no need to get on a scale, but you know, roughly what is your height and weight? Don't get in trouble with your wife. Roughly how much does she weigh? That kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Do you have any health problems or take any regular prescription medications for anything? And you're going to want to take
Um,
good notes on the frequency and the usage, dosage, all that fun stuff. Especially if they start rattling off a list of 3, 4.
Now, real quick, Kyle, these are small business owners. They may not have it with them. What do you do in that situation?
In most cases, I'll tell you again, why I've really become a believer in this system is because, and I'm going to, Mac, are you on any medications?
Nope.
Ask me if I'm on any medications.
Are you on any medications?
No. Most of the small business owners that I talk to, their livelihood depends on them being able to work. Most of
Right.
them aren't overweight. Most of them aren't on 17 different medications. Again, there's going to be a couple. Don't be disheartened by that. But I would say that 75 to 80% of them are on very little, if anything at all. Like they're active electricians, plumbers, painters, drivers. Like they're not. This works because of who we market this product to. We're not marketing it to 60-year-old, work from home, telephone operators with a bag of Doritos. Not that, and I love Doritos, but they're not overweight, sitting on a couch, waiting for a government paycheck. So, I wouldn't necessarily stress about that type of question, but yeah, you're going to try to dig in and see. One thing that Manhattan does, they don't do an MIB like the traditional life insurance. They just do a PHI. So all they're looking for, prescription history interview. So all they're looking for is any prescriptions that may be indicative of a major medical condition. If they got a Z-Pack 3 weeks ago, they don't need to tell you. You don't care about that, right? That's not going to be indicative of anything, right? But if they had surgery for diverticulitis, and he's on, 14 medications, that's going to obviously be a triggering event that you're going to want to explain in the application.
Got it. And underwriting does sometimes give those post-application interviews if they need to, correct?
They will, yeah. So usually the next day, and I'll tell them that as far when I go through the presentation, but I'll say, are you ready to put in the application? I'm going to go through and ask you all the same questions that an underwriter may or may not call you tomorrow and ask and verify. So I work for you. I'm on your team. If you have any questions at all about how to answer these questions for the application, let's talk about them openly and honestly right now so that we can kind of help you navigate the gauntlet. Because I don't want to answer wrong and then have somebody else call you tomorrow that's usually going to be, a difficult situation.
Got it. Cool. All right, keep going. No
Uh,
medications.
no medications. Have you been hospitalized or had any surgeries in the last 2 years? Have you had any serious health problems in the past, like a heart attack, stroke, cancer? Number of occurrences, when, where, how, why? Do you currently have a primary care provider?
And real
That's
quick,
going to
Kyle,
be
the
good.
surgery question. I
Yep.
had surgery on my knee. How critical is things that are minimal?
It's not.
What are they
If you
looking
have
for?
surgery on your knee, a shoulder, you had stitches, don't care. Don't even bother putting that on the application. Again, it's
Got
not
it.
indicative unless they're currently, if they had it 3 months ago and they're still on hydros for their knee surgery, then yeah, you're going to want to bring that up. That's going to be problematic. First of all, you're going to ask them, why are you still on hydros for surgery 3 months ago?
Right.
And I'm pretty blunt and honest with my clients. I'm like, I'm trying to get you approved here. You're not help me help you. So,
Yeah. Tell me the story.
and
Someone's asking, what if someone hasn't been
they
to the
usually
doctor?
appreciate that. If they haven't
What
been
if
to the
that?
doctor in 10 years, good. But you're going to try to coach them that this plan is going to be significantly different. If they don't have a doc, you're fine. It's actually better if they don't, for the sake of the application. If they do have a doc, that could be a sticking point. And so you're going to want to find, the reason I ask is because I want to know, do you love your doctor? Or if we found you a PPO plan, would you entertain changing? You're just going to kind of try to see how in bed and how in love they are with their current state of affairs. I run into it mainly in like Florida, South Florida, Naples. Like they've had the same family doctor for 20 years. Well, I got to make sure that I find them that doc. If they're not in network and accepting the plan, then I'm probably going to lose the deal, because they don't want to switch. And
Sure.
can't teach
And
no
this is
love.
one of the, how does someone who is not familiar with the health lingo, where do they start as the basic intro? Does the training that Manhattan have, that Vimeo training, is that sufficient?
I
Or
think
would
that
they be
Manhattan
lost?
has, if you get contracted, you log in. I mean, they literally have dozens of training videos, brochures. Like you can really get into the lingo of trying to figure out. Again, the best thing you can do is go through that discovery call 10, 15 times, and you'll be significantly better than you were the first time. And again, just learning one client at a time, I think, is my best piece of advice.
Copy that. All right, let's keep going.
What are you roughly paying per month if you currently have it? And again, this is really critical because, if they're paying $600 or $800, you want to kind of dig in, and who's that with? Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can typically find, based on what they tell you they're paying per month, and which carrier it is, whether it's a bronze, silver, or gold plan in that state.
Kyle,
We're
can
going
you
to
tell us what's average for someone who's never seen health insurance premiums? What's a normal family of 3, 4 paying?
I'd say roughly, I mean, and again, it all depends around government subsidy. So, but this project works because most small business owners aren't usually qualifying for government subsidy. They make too much money. So I would
Right.
say that I've seen anywhere, the range is probably 500 to 1,000, 5 to 1,200. My most expensive one has been $3,100 a month they were spending on health insurance.
The
Family
gold
of
plan.
5, but they had a gold plan. They were maxing it out, and they still had a huge deductible. So I ended up throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them for $2,200 a month, and they're still on the books. That was a nice payday.
Wow. Wow. All right.
That's
Keep going.
$2,200 a month, right?
A
So
month.
yeah,
Ooh.
so that's an AP of like $26,000. Do the math.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
So we're going to find out a little bit about what they're paying. We're going to use that information against them. Obviously, if they're paying $600 a month, you don't want to save them too much money, right? If you come back and you quote out the affordable choice, Joe's question, if you quote out the affordable choice, at $200 and they were paying $600, then your credibility just went in the tank. They don't believe you. So you have $600 as your budget, right? You want to try to build this valuable package of protection up to, maybe 10% less than $600. I still want to save them money because this still is a price-based quote, but I want to be able to provide them more value for less money if at all possible. And again, remember, they already said that it was an essential service. So they basically just gave me $600 a month in AP that I can go and spend on their behalf and make some money on. So I'm usually trying to spend about 500 of that, somewhere between 75 and 80% of whatever they tell me their budget was. If they don't have a health plan, then on the presentation, I'm going to tell them what the government is going to help them out with. I went out to the ACA plan. I went to the government's marketplace. I shopped on your behalf. The best plan that you can find, a bronze level plan in Arizona, is still going to run you $582. Now, I'm by no means suggesting that we go with that plan. I found you something a lot better. I just wanted you to understand that the government is suggesting that you spend $582 a month for a $9,000 deductible. Sound like a good deal? Didn't sound like a good deal to me. What I found for you was $480 for a PPO.
And that's call number 2, right?
That's call number 2, right? But that's why you're gathering that information, obviously, on the discovery call.
Got it. All right, keep going in the discovery call so we can kind of
Yeah, I ask them, what's the most important thing about your health insurance? If I was to build a perfect plan for you, how would that look? Is it price? Is it doctors? Like, what does that really look for you? Okay, that's everything I need to know. I'll work up a few options for you and I'll call you to go back over them. I'm always trying to book my follow-up call the same day. I usually say that I need 3 to 4 hours. I'm going to shop some options. I'd like to, if it's 3:56, hey, can I, you'll be my last call of the day, but I've got a 6:45 or a 7:15 tonight. I only need about 15, 20 minutes of your time. I'm going to get the quotes back. I'll search through the options, see which one I think is best for you. And then in my professional financial opinion, I'll share, what I would recommend. And, if you want to put in an application tonight, that's great. There's no fee or anything to apply. I'm happy to help you with that. And then you book the hell out of the appointment and you show up 3 days later, 3 hours.
What's the max time you would book out an appointment? Being that are you the same as max as 2 days, 1 day?
Oh, never. I mean, I'm hammering them for 3 hours the same day. If
3 hours.
If they're going to their mom's funeral tonight, I'll do it tomorrow morning. That's about it. If you do it more than 24 hours, you're shooting yourself in the head.
Got it. Okay. We go to the second call. What does that sound like?
How much time do we have here?
Hey, you guys, if you got to go. But
no, I'm good. I'm good. This is going to be like
keep going.
This is a 3-day training.
We're going to just do a shortened version, and we're going to jump on your Zoom and learn it. But I think it's critical for those there are people that are hungry, that we at least get an idea of what it sounds like. And then, hey, if you guys got to go it too, this will be recorded. We'll post it for those that are they got to go.
So the presentation, right? We did the discovery call. As soon as I get off the phone, I go to Manhattan site. I quote them out real quick. I lead with affordable choice. I add the dental vision product in. I go over to Health Sherpa. I see what first of all, for those of you who don't know, the government's marketplace is closed, right? So it's unless you have the qualifying event, there's nobody that can even, it doesn't even open until the first week in November for a January 1st effective date. So it's kind of nice because you got them in a rock and a hard place right now. Like they can't go get health insurance if they wanted to, unless they've got a qualifying event, meaning they just lost their job or they moved or something like that. So, so I'll go over to Health Sherpas though, and I'll try to determine, you know, what my budget is. So I'm building the plan of the package of protection. I always lead with affordable choice, the dental vision plan. I'll add an accidental plan within Manhattan as well. And then some of my folks will, again, just due to commissions and that kind of thing, they'll bundle Mutual of Omaha's dental plan or Aetna's dental plan because it pays them a little bit more. Totally up to you guys how many applications you want to end up doing and how complicated you want to make this. And then I'll figure out what that looks like and how much room I have left to add living benefits, which is where I make my money.
Again, how much time does it all take you? Like planning your strategy of how you're going to approach it. I mean, how much back end work we talking?
5 minutes.
Is that for a new person? 30,
10.
maybe?
10.
10.
It doesn't take you any time. You're going to, you have it open all day long. You're going to just go affordable choice, dental vision, accident, see what it is, add their kids' birthdays. The application is the easiest one you've ever done. And then you'll jump over to Health Sherpa, do the exact same thing, see what the difference is. Oh, I got $200 left to work with. Okay, now I'm going to present them with $100 a month IUL with Americo, and go over to Americo's IUL website and build out your bundle there. And that's how you're going to sell. You're not going to sell. This is the trick. You're not going to sell life insurance. In fact, life insurance is not even going to come out of your mouth. If you say life insurance, then you got a problem. You're essentially selling the living benefit component of life insurance as the catastrophic element to their health plan. So does everyone understand that?
I got it.
Really
That's
crucial.
good.
So
stick with the marketing moniker of living benefit coverage.
Right. So if I have a $150,000 living benefit policy and I go to the hospital, right, not only do I have my affordable choice, but I also have a $150,000 living benefit kicker. They can kind of help me with either income replacement, or I got run over by a truck, or now I have a critical illness that I can use a piece of my living benefits to cover my health insurance, right, and put me in a better situation. So anyhow, I'll do all that. I'll, again, right on the dot, I got my call at 6:45 tonight. I call them at 6:45. Hey, thanks so much, Mac, for taking my call. This is Kyle. How's your day been? It's only been
Kyle,
3 hours, right?
Can you ever call them early? 30 minutes early, like life insurance? Oh,
no.
Don't do that. Okay.
No. I call them at 6:45 because I'm busy. And I told them I'm only going to take 15 minutes of their time. So this is turn and burn, right? If anything, like busy is your friend. So, hey, I got 15 minutes. I found something that I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with. I just sent you over the quote. Manhattan has a cool little feature where you can send, it looks real professional. You can either send it to a phone or you can send it to their email, and it'll send the brochures for the package of protection that you just built. Obviously, you'd have to send the IUL stuff separately. So I send an email just for my email. As soon as they pick up the phone, I have the email already queued up, and I'll hit fire. And I'll say, hey, you should have an email in your inbox right now. If you pull that up, we can go through it together. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Just as to recap, what I've done, you told me that you were spending $600 a month with Blue Cross Blue Shield in Arizona. I went out to the government's marketplace. I found that was actually true. Not only are you paying $600 a month, but your deductible is $7,000 per person, $17,200 for a family, and all this extra co-insurance. So the total cost of ownership for your plan, if you include your monthly premiums, is like well over $30,000 before you receive any actual benefit. Man, that's gotta suck, right? Yeah, it does. All right, good. So just to recap, every single one of those plans that the government offers you offers 10 essential health benefits. What I found for you was a product called Affordable Choice. Now, what it doesn't do, let me tell you what it doesn't do. First of all, it only offers 8 essential health benefits. And again, this is what I'm going to say, provided that maternity and mental health are not a problem. Because I'm saying that, hey, I still found you a plan that is plenty robust in every other essential health benefit category. It still offers hospitalization, pediatric dental and vision, well care, prescription care, all that fun stuff. And I built it plenty powerful to compete with your ACA plan, but it doesn't offer those 2 essential health benefits, which is why you're going to find that it's significantly less money and you're getting more value, obviously, for less money. So I kind of give them that intro, and then I dive right into my flyer. So this is a PPO. If you don't know the difference between a PPO and an HMO, this is the difference. You don't have to seek a a referral from your primary care provider to go see a specialist. It is fairly strict underwriting, but again, I've already reviewed all your details with an underwriter, gone through the guide. I think you guys have a pretty good chance for approval. I'll talk to you about what that application is going to look like here in a few minutes. I like to divide it up into 3 separate buckets. I have your day-to-day, your preventative care, and your catastrophic element. The day-to-day, you guys tell me what you think, but I built out 10 doctor visits per person per year. Do you think that's enough? Do you guys think you go to the doctor more than 10 times?
No.
They never say yes, because most of them haven't gone to the doctor in a long time anyhow, because they know that it costs money. Yeah. And I say this is crucial, because they see this as a way for you, if you're going to see a medical provider on a regular basis, they see this as a way to mitigate anything that may become a major medical situation. Guy who asked earlier, like, I haven't been to the doctor in 10 years. That guy's a ticking time bomb, right? Because he's going to just show up, and like my dad didn't go to the doctor for 35 years and then died 3 days later after he went into the hospital. And It's like, like, go see a doctor every once in a while. I'm not a big fan either, but if you're going on a regular basis, you're probably not just going to show up and have cancer someday. And consequently, that keeps the overall cost of that umbrella for all participants significantly lower. So strict underwriting, 10 visits. If you don't use them for doctor visits, you can go see chiropractors with them, which is super cool. So say you only go 5 times a year to the doctor, you can go see a chiropractor 5 times a year. If you only see 3 times this year, they have a rollover provision, so you can actually go see them 13 times next year. So that's pretty cool. You have your preventative maintenance, which includes like your colonoscopies, your mammograms, your pap smears, your therapies, and then your catastrophic element would include ER, urgent care, hospitalization, surgery. It even offers an $80,000 annual cancer benefit. I can add more to that if you're concerned at all about history of cancer or getting cancer. I did this with a guy the other day, and he's like, yeah, my wife has cancer, or had a bout with cancer. So he ended up adding like $220 in addition to the AFC for additional cancer coverage. And I was like, great, because it pays you a lot more than the health plan. Couple of benefits to talk about are obviously that the telehealth program, that's unlimited. It doesn't eat into any of your in-person doctor visits. Fixed annual premiums is also really nice. So as opposed to an ACA plan where I'm having to shop every single year, Mac, I'm guessing that your health insurance rates probably aren't going to go down next year. They're always going to go up. Just because they can. So it's nice that they will lock in your rates, so you don't have to be shopping every single year. If I lock in your rate today, it's probably still going to be the same in 3 years, 5 years. They haven't had a rate change since 2012, which is nice. They have a super cool service called Care Guide. Whether pre or post service, it's a team that will negotiate on your behalf that the benefit level that you guys have, this fixed benefit level, will meet or exceed the cost of services. Whether you go get a knee surgery, or whether you have a stint, or whether you have, I don't know.
Before the event. So if they know they're going to the surgery, they
either
can have
before or after. Yeah.
I see.
So you'll just kind of introduce all those. It's just a very high level, again, my whole call is like 15 minutes. I'm just basically trying to give them all the details. I don't get into the weeds. Everybody well, what if? And I'll be like, well, have you had that happen? Do you have a bill that I can compare it to? Well, again, I don't really have time to get into all the hypotheticals, but I'm trying to tell you that, again, I've taken your current ACA plan and tried to essentially mirror where I can, with the exception of maternity and mental health, the same or better coverages with PPO coverage. So I think you're going to be, again, pleasantly surprised. And more importantly, the cost is significantly less. So
how deep are you going into every one of these benefits, Kyle? I mean, is it like bam, 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 or do you go into an area that you thought they like?
I don't really know. I mean, I hit on the doctor visits and I hit on the catastrophic. The preventative maintenance, unless they ask me about a colonoscopy, like, I know how much a colonoscopy costs. So if they say that, I might drop some knowledge on them. Like, I know that the average cost of a colonoscopy in Arizona is about $2,900. And the benefit level is $4,000. So I've got more than enough benefit to meet or exceed. I don't talk to them about cash reimbursement and all that stuff.
You don't do none of that.
No, that blows their mind. I'd
Really?
rather them just get a check and then call me back and say, why'd I get $1,000 check in the mail? And then I can explain. And they
got it. That's a nugget right there, guys. I've done it where I explained that cash thing and people didn't believe me. It was how is it possible I get $1,000 from going to the doctor?
Yeah. Confused you've all heard a confused agent won't sell and a confused client won't buy. So you don't want to say anything that's out of the norm that's going to confuse your client. You want to try to say this is healthcare as you know it, but better, not completely different. Not, hey, we're going to start flying cars now. Like that's going to go, really? I've seen that in Germany. I ain't getting in one.
Hey, someone's asking before you continue. Is there a certain age demographic that works best for this?
Most of the leads that you're going to talk to are probably in that 40 to 55 range. I don't talk to a lot of young folks. I think a lot of those people, first of all, they don't make enough. I mean, I don't know. I'd be guessing as to why they probably don't make enough money, or they're on subsidy, and or or they're just self-insured.
Foreign nationals. Any covers there?
No.
No. Okay. Gotta have
not on the health side. No.
Gotta have what do you call it? A resident card?
Yeah. No.
Or you gotta be a citizen.
You gotta be a citizen.
Got it. Okay. All right, keep going. So you cover boom, 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 boom. What's the last couple things you cover?
So I do telehealth, the fixed premiums, no co-insurance, no copay, no deductible. Based on everything that I've shared with you here today, it sounds like this checks all the boxes that you were concerned about. Was that if they were looking for a doctor, I would just reiterate that they do have that their doctor was in network and is currently accepting new patients. And so again, I'm just trying to highlight everything that they said, highlight all the benefits of what Manhattan is. I told them what it is. I told them what it wasn't. I told them what it did. I told them what it didn't. And then I say, based on everything that I said, that you said, this checks all your boxes, right? So for everything that I mentioned, and it also includes, I actually also added the dental, but for everything that I mentioned here today, you're going to get the health plan and the dental plan and $150,000 worth of additional living benefits for the catastrophic element of your health plan for $442.78, as opposed to the $612 that you were, offered through, that you're currently paying, or that the government would offer you if you were eligible to apply right now. So does it sound like something you want to put in an application for?
What do they usually say?
They always say yes.
I always say yes. Okay. You ever let me think about it. Let me go talk to the wife about it.
No, what's there to think about?
So
there's no fear or anything to apply. Again, I can't, the point is to try to get you an approval. So it only takes me about 5 minutes to put in an application. Let's go ahead and put in an app real quick. And then in 48 hours, I'm going to give you a call back and let you know, hopefully thumbs up, thumbs down, you were approved, you weren't. But at least then you'll have some information from which to go by. But I put in an application 99% of the time.
And we're not asking for any banking.
So I do ask for the banking, but you don't have to.
Okay. What's your best practice?
I would suggest that you do, but if you get by the time you've gotten through the application, I always ask for the banking last. So I'll fill out the whole application. The banking, I think, is like the 4th page of the application, but I skip it and I do it at the end because I'm trying to essentially build as much rapport as I can. Let them know that I'm reputable, I'm honest, I'm asking them the questions, like they know by now that this isn't just BS. And at the end, I'll say, so again, you did want your coverage to be effective on the 15th, you said. So provided I can get you coverage, they are asking for the bank account that you want it to draft from. I just need the routing and account number. Obviously, there's no fee or anything to apply, but should we go ahead and get approved, then that's when you would have the coverage effective. Does that sound good?
What kind of kickback do you get, if any? And how do you overcome that?
If they do give me kickback, I go, hey, no big deal. Let's just first of all see if you can get approved. So Manhattan has a cool feature where you can either bill it monthly, and it's all just ACH with a bank, with a checking account, or you can do a quarterly bill. The quarterly bill still pushes everything through, and I hate to tell you this, but it still pushes everything through as if it were normal, and then they'll get approved, they'll get the packet in the mail, but along with the packet, they get a little sheet that says, hey, here's the next 3 months of payment. So in this case, they'd get a bill for $1,300. Again, no coverage until money exchanges hands. So they might get approved, but their coverage isn't effective until they mail that check back in. So what I do is, if they give me any guff about giving me the banking information, I'll say no big deal, because keep in mind, I'm going to call them again, right, to let them know. So then once I call them and I get them approved, now I ask them for the banking information. Hey, your policy's approved. You're pretty excited about it, right? Right. So obviously, since you're excited about it, you got to pay for it. So before they get all this mess in the mail, now I'm just going to go back into their account and I'm going to put in their banking routing and account. I'm going to switch it from quarterly bill back to monthly and set it up for an effective date on the 15th.
It's good. Good. And
Yep.
do you do where you, hey, we need to, two questions. Where, if at all, you send them your credibility is we're used to doing in life. Your
Um,
license number, credibility
so
sheet.
so I mean, we use a CRM, so I have my license and link business card and all that stuff with all the NIPR lookup
Okay.
that all
So all
goes
that's
through.
done,
Um,
automated. You don't, when you're talking to them, that's already done. Do you
yeah,
even
they've already,
reference it? Hey, you got my credentials
no
via
one ever
text already?
asked.
No one ever asked. Got it.
No.
Got it.
I mean, as
And
soon
as
as the
far as,
lead comes in, it triggers the automation. They get a, hey, this is Kyle. I'm a state approved field underwriter. Getting back to you about your affordable health insurance quote. Here's my license information 2 minutes later. Or if you'd like, feel free to book into my calendar, and they get an email, an educational email about health insurance as well.
boom.
And then 2 minutes later, they say, or if you'd like, we can just handle this via text. So it gives them plenty of opportunities to respond back. But again, it's all in real time.
And do you actually engage someone that just wants to do text and
All day.
actually successfully sell them
All day.
all day? Like really? So you're
I
going
think
back and forth?
I think that's the biggest fault that life insurance guys have is you guys like get what like Jacob Mefford. You're so like white on rice, like just pigs on shit. Like you're like, oh, I got a hot one. Like you're just gonna go and just kill it in the front yard. Like just let the thing come to the front door. Like just it's like prom night. It'll come. Just give it some time, right? So if they want, meet them where they're at. If they are gonna text, you got to respect the audience, right? If
Yeah.
they're a small business owner and it's 9:30 in the morning, I can guarantee you at 9:30 in the morning, I got shit to do. I'm not necessarily really excited to talk about some random stranger about my health insurance plan. But
Right.
maybe I'm in a meeting or whatever. And if he'll give me his zip code and birthdays, then I'll be like, oh, hey, thanks so much. Like, hey, and just real quick, have you had any hospitalizations or surgeries in the last 2 years? Oh, like it's a fishing pole. So I'm not just like, not just like slam bam, getting them, the whole time. Like I just little by little, okay, give me a little. All right, great. Any prescriptions that you regularly take? Great. I'll get working on that right now. When is a good time to call you later this afternoon when you're a little less busy? So yeah, I do that. I bet half of my sales on a weekly basis start that way, where I do most of my discovery call over text.
Wow.
Because
And two
most
questions.
of the CRMs, you guys have them, but they have lead connector, and so you can do it
Yeah.
all on your phone,
Just do it all at
or
the same
if
time.
you're sitting at the desk, you can use your CRM. Yeah.
Now, how often is it that you're helping the entire family, but there's only one of the two available? Or do you make sure that when you call them for the approval, the banking, you got both available? Is that a big thing?
No, because I don't really need both available. Whoever's talking usually is the person that's inquiring. So
Okay.
whoever I'm talking to is usually the person that's inquiring, that's consequently usually the person that has the money. Um, so as long as they're transparent on what meds, that's the only hiccup that comes, but that usually happens in the presentation, hey, just are there any medications? Is your wife on any? Can you go get me the bottles real quick? Let's just make sure to dot our I's and cross the T's, but
And at what point would you say, with the texting back and forth, would you incorporate an assistant to do that for you? Or is it even advisable to do that?
So my top 3 agents do have dialers for the discovery call. That's it. Um, I don't know that they're my top 3 agents. They're my most profitable, efficient 3 agents.
Okay.
They're not the highest producing agents. I think that this is a system and a model that doesn't really require a lot of administration. I think that, again, you buy 30 leads a week, do the simple math. You're going to talk to 15, sit with 10, close 4 or 5. That every single one of you on this phone call is more than qualified to conduct that much business. It's not like you're talking to thousands of people a week.
Yeah, it's good. All right. So I say yes, let's do it. I gave you the banking. What's next?
I do the app. The app's real easy. Like I said, it only requires the mother's maiden name for the cert for the app, and then I always click on email it to the insured so that they get, again, further credibility that we just filled out an application. They got it in their email box. And then again, I'm setting them up for success. Hey, usually this takes about 3 days to hear back from an answer. I'm going to book you back into my schedule. So immediately right then, hey, if it's Monday, can I get back on the phone with you at Thursday at 4 o'clock? I'm hoping to have some good news. If I hear before then, I'm calling always from my cell phone. I call from my cell phone. I don't call out of the dialer or anything like that because I want them to have my number. I want them to have mine. and I want to have theirs. And so I'll say if I get news before that, I'll shoot you a quick text and we can circle up and I'll show you how I call it the plan orientation call. So, and again, that's another 15-20 minute call, depending on whether they have questions, to just show them how to register, to let them and set clear cut, defined expectations for exactly what's going to happen, when their payment's going to get drafted, when everything's effective, what cards they're going to get, how to print out their temporary ID cards, all that fun stuff. And all of that training is available in the Manhattan portal.
Boom. And then done. Annual reviews. Do you incorporate that at all? Tell them that you're going to call them in 6 months.
So I don't do annual reviews. In the CRM, we have a cool little feature where that I just added. But if a lot of people don't, for whatever reason, they don't bundle still. And you know, they're obviously, if you're a new agent, you're still just trying to figure this. It's a lot to learn. If you're not used to selling life insurance, and now you're going to sell life insurance and health insurance, and how to offer both and do multiple applications. So I incorporated this cool checkbox that says health only. So and you don't necessarily need a CRM to do that, but if you didn't sell them life insurance or didn't feel comfortable, you can always just put a reminder back in your calendar to call them, send them a text, send them an email. Hey, I just added another cool product to my portfolio. It's called an Index Universal Life. It might be check a box for a small business owner like yourself that's interested in taking, free policy loans and getting some tax-free income when you look to retire. Is that something you'd be interested in? So it gives you an opportunity to, again, continually drip on them. Our CRM does it every 30 days. So if they come in on the health side, in 30 days, they're going to get marketed annuities. And then 30 days later, they're going to get marketed at IULs. It automatically triggers their policy review 365 days out. So, at some point, the thought process is if you do this right, and I've already, I'm 17, 18 months into this. If you do this right, though, and I've already seen sizable, because the renewals are a lot better than life, somewhere between 3 and up to almost 10 points on cancer, heart attack, stroke policies.
Yeah.
So you can really start to see some decent renewal and residual income out of this thing. But if you did this right, I see personally a vision where I would have, 5 to 10 policy reviews every single week and never have to buy leads again.
Wow. If you do it right for a year, you should be.
I think you have to do it for more than a year, but I mean, if I do the math, if I sold it one a day, 5 days a week, right, and that's 5 policy reviews, but I know that one of them is probably going to fall off.
Of course.
Right. So now I only got 4 policy reviews next year. So, I mean, in theory, you could probably, I'd say 2 full years. If you did this consistent for 2 full years, you could get to a place where you have enough products and enough existing book of business clientele that you wouldn't have to buy leads and you could just keep offering additional products, annuities, or whatever else you decide to add.
And last couple of questions, we'll let you go. Thank you for being patient with us, Kyle, as we just trigger you. Referrals. Where does that come in when you ask, and how does it sound like?
I don't really ask for them anymore so much as I get them. No joke. I just get them because I had one over the weekend. She's like, hey, one of my first clients from almost a year ago, she's a mortgage broker in McAllen, Texas. I bet she refers me 2 or 3 a month. She's like, hey, I got another one for you, and so I just sent her a gift card to, Outback Steakhouse last month. Just because we're like friends at that point. But you'll be surprised. It's kind of like that whole got a guy syndrome, like, sharing the gospel. It's not like life insurance where you have to ask for it. If you deliver a quality product for less money, people want to tell their friends that it's almost like boastfully, like bragging, like happy brag, like, hey, what do you got for health insurance? I'm paying a lot less than you, dude, and my agent's badass, so I'd give him a jingle. He'll probably save you some money too.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Now, and so in the beginning, did you ask for them, and then over time you got better?
I did ask for them in the beginning. Yeah, I'd be like, hey, and we've kind of transitioned a little bit. We do a little bit more, hey, we specialize in this, but, our passion is in retirement solutions. Do you have a 401k or IRA? We really like to help you with, setting yourself up and your family up for a better situation. So we'll definitely help you figure out all this health insurance stuff. But I've got some really cool retirement solutions that I'd love to talk to you about. And that is kind of how we transition into phase 2.
It's good. Last 2 questions. We're going to have a hard stop in 7 minutes. Someone's asking, 3 questions. It's 10 visits per year per individual on the plan, correct?
Correct. Just Dr.
Now,
well checked.
10 well checks. And as far as small businesses, Joe's asking, do you ever try to convert them on the policies that they provide to their employees?
Elaborate. What is that? Oh, I don't understand what that question is.
Joe, I believe, Joe, maybe you can clarify. I think he's saying that if they already
Sure.
have one, is that what
Can
you're
you
saying,
hear
Joe?
me?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so like me, I used to be a small business owner with 20 employees, and I provided health coverage for my employees. They paid in a portion, I paid in a portion. Does
Right.
this work in those situations as well?
So it does and it doesn't. I have 7 small groups right now. All of them consequently are in Florida. They're all some form of either dental or medical offices. So those work really well. Imagine again the demographic, right? So they came in as a lead, and then I helped them, and they were and I was like, yeah. So do you have anybody else at your office that may be interested? And they're like, well, yeah. I'll talk to the boss. And so now I have 7 of those, and they're great. You can put them on a list bill, but you're still treating them all as individuals. The only problem is obviously, again, as we mentioned, stricter underwriting. So you can't. It's not guaranteed issue like an ACA plan would be, where if a group you establish a group, everybody gets in. So I tell them, because it's a private plan, I'm still going to have to kind of conduct discovery calls individually with every one of your employees. If you can just do them a favor and let them know that I'll be reaching out on your behalf, I'll explain to them what it is that I'm offering. I'll see how we can best help them. How much do you want to contribute? Do you want to contribute some, all, or none? Some of the nuns are the best ones. Like the last 3 that I've done, they're like, yeah, I don't really want to contribute anything if I don't have to. I'm like, you don't. All I need is your stamp seal of approval, and I'll go help them out. And why? Because it's still a value add, right? It helps them with employee retention. And now he essentially I made him look good because he's offering benefits to his employees, whereas they'd have to go seek them out on their own somewhere else. So they're W-2 employees. He basically garnishes their wages if they offer contribution. If they don't, then the bill still comes in once a month with 7 to 10 employees on it. Again, if you can get them all approved. Typically, you can. I mean, it's not that hard unless they're, on a plethora of medications.
So it's
yeah.
not like a employer group plan per se. It would be treated as like 7 individual plans.
So
Am I understanding that
Manhattan
right?
offers 2 different options. They have what's called a list bill, which is basically up to 50 employees, where I can just basically
Okay.
say, hey, I have this employer has 50 employees. They're going to contribute $75 per employee. And then I have the responsibility to go and individually qualify them all to see, and I can custom build their plans. So they don't have to be the same canned plan.
Gotcha.
I can build every single one of them differently. Doesn't freaking matter, because the guy's like, I'm going to pay up to $75, and anything they want over that, like, that's on them. And then you have what's called a work site option, which are for groups over 50. I would suggest that you probably don't even go bark up that tree, because it could be. I've only done 2 of them. They were more work than they were worth.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
a lot of work. And
I was thinking 50 might be the threshold, so
yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't go. Again, do you want to know the honest to God truth? If you guys, if you don't have any money, if you're in a situation where you don't know, go just search hair salons, and go and build yourself out a cute little flyer that says no coinsurance, no copay, small group plans, and go in and drop flyers off at 50 hair salons in the next month, and you'll have a boatload of business. Hair salons are like the perfect demographic because they're all 1099. Every one of those girls that are guys that has, a little booth checked out, 1099 employees. And I mean, those are a gold mine waiting to be found.
It's good.
Perfect. Thank
Guys, we're gonna thank Kyle. Appreciate you, man. Hey, any last things? I know we probably sucked your mind dry, but any and that only stays between you and me, by the way.
No
Any
coinsurance,
last
no
things?
copay, no deductible.
Okay.
People are
Yeah,
sticking
no
in the
copay.
box. You're my health guru. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Damien.
So like, part of anytime you're branding anything, people don't buy a specific television because they see them as, they do this well, they don't do this well, right? So do you ever get, well, you're my health insurance guy, not my retirement planning guy,
No. No, I say I'm an insurance broker. I mean, that's what I posture myself as. So I'm not their I know the text says state approved health insurance guy, but I'm on the discovery call. That's why I kind of use that transition statement. This is what we do, but my passion is this. And this is, I throw all kinds of, credible, how many agents I have, how many clients we have, that kind of stuff. But
Good.
no, I mean, and again, even if they did, who cares? I mean, you could drip on them once they're your client. The whole reason why this works, any good sales guy is just trying to find people to talk to. It's prospecting. And this works because of the small business demographic that exists now that didn't exist 5 years ago. But COVID was, again, the greatest thing that ever happened to insurance, and it happened to small businesses. It created a huge awareness and opportunity for people to work remote and for people to want to make more money and cast a wide net. So
it's awesome. Kyle, you're the man, brother. This is gold.
Good luck, guys. Yeah.
I'm going to call you after about some back end stuff just for 2 minutes. But hey, guys, this will be recorded. Give me a day or two to get this up. But thank you, Kyle. You are changing a lot of lives. You take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Good luck.